What is going on, migrants and migrants? My name is Albera, and today I'm here with
Marlene
and
Diana.
So before we start, I just wanted to lightly jump into it. How are you guys doing today?
I'm chilling. I had a really cool day. I got to bring lunch to my girlfriend, and I had some classes in the morning.
Oh yeah.
How about you, Marlene? My day was fine. I had an easy day at school. I took a 2-hour nap.
Nice. My day was pretty good. Caught up with some friends, and after school I had a couple of meetings, which I enjoyed catching up with everyone. So in today's episode, we're going to be talking about how social media affects one's mental health. So how have you guys, just like give me an all-around experience with social media and how it has affected your mental health?
I noticed one thing with social media is that once I started to spend a lot of time on it, it became harder for me to talk with other people in real life. It gave me more anxiety because I was so used to socializing with people over the phone and on different apps.
Yeah.
Another thing was that I was dissociating slightly from myself, because when I was posting a lot on social media, it's almost like I was viewing my life from the way others would view it. So I would create my life in order to make it appealing for others to see, especially when I was posting stories. I would post what would look good and what would others find appealing. And by doing that, I was looking at my life from an outsider's perspective and dissociating myself, because I was thinking how does my life look, rather than asking myself, how do I feel living?
Yo, that's bars, honestly. It makes you feel like you're putting other people's opinions of yourself in the driver's seat, and you're just casually you're in the passenger seat now, and you're just trying to, live life as if it's not your life. You're not the main character anymore.
Exactly. You're always trying to please others instead of yourself.
Yeah, word. I think that's a really big growing problem for not just people here in the States, but people everywhere. They have this problem with wanting to appeal to people that they've never fucking met before. And that's the point of this episode today. So, Albera, do you have any thoughts?
Personally, when spending a lot of time on social media, my ability to focus on what's really important in life, on myself and mental health and my goals, just becomes super hard, because I'm exposed to constant stimulation, and I find myself always seeking that amount of stimulation from social media. So life doesn't provide what the sense of pleasure that social media provided me. And I found myself, when I was sad, I would turn to social media instead of actual people, right? Because it was a quick and easy fix. But what I found out was that over time, right, I struggled to deal with my mental health on my own, and I had to talk to other people for me to get better. And now I just don't even use social media. I have all of the apps deleted, and I'm able to focus on myself better than ever.
That's really great, but I think that a lot of people today can't just cut off social media.
Yeah.
Some people are too involved in it. Some people, maybe they don't have a phone and they have to use their computer to log into Instagram or something to keep up with their friends. Some people even have social media as a fucking career. I don't think it's going to go anywhere. So maybe we should discuss, at least later in this episode, how we can better handle that, and at least limit ourselves for our own fucking peace of mind.
Yeah. Do you guys think the major Titans social media platforms actually care about our mental health?
Absolutely not. Oh my god, to the point where that feels like a joke. They absolutely do not care.
they profit off of it, so they're not going to care as long as they're making the money that they want.
Yeah, and and I think they want to show us that they care about like posting like reminders to take a break and like come back. When like on TikTok, when you're scrolling for too long, there's this video that comes up to take a quick break and then go like eat or get a drink or something and then come back. I think they try to fool us by doing that, which I don't know, does it really help you guys?
Well, personally, I think TikTok is the only app, like at least the apps that I use, my very limited app usage, TikTok is the only app that I see doing that. Like, I don't see those kind of break reminders on Instagram or Twitter or lo que sea. You know, that's not what I see. So TikTok being the only one that kind of stops you in this, like, swiping frenzy of just rolling through, like, everyone's feed, like your feed that has everyone talking about different things. I think it's cool that TikTok does that, just because, like, TikTok is one of the only, like, big tech apps that isn't owned by, like, big mega fucking corporations. And I mean, from, like, a tech perspective, since I am, like, a STEM student, I know that, like, I've talked to you guys about it before, that people literally make money, like, 6-figure fucking careers off of programming and making your algorithm so addicting and so fitted to you to make sure that you can't stop, to make sure that it feels like you're missing out on more of you almost. It makes you feel like you're still looking for something and you don't know what it is until you scroll and find it. So you're just, like, in this fucking frenzy to see what it is. And they make it so addicting because it's so catered to you specifically.
Yeah. Do you think TikTok has those like warnings because of the fact that, like, it's more addicting than other social medias?
I do think it's more addicting than other social media platforms because, like Diana mentioned, they cater the algorithm to your specific taste, so you can't stop because of how much you like the material. And, like, all the videos that are coming up, you like them, you're interacting, and it's with opinions that you agree with, so you're going to be happy seeing them. And because you're getting that constant gratification, it's thing to put down. And also, you kind of get, like, addicted to the swiping and then constantly seeing videos that you like, just swipe and swipe and swipe, and then you don't realize how much time you spend on TikTok.
Yeah. I mean, every social media platform does have an algorithm, but I think what's so powerful about TikTok is that it shows you clips, right? So, and they're super short, right? I haven't been on TikTok for a while, but like, what I know about it is that they strictly only show you short clips. Unlike any other platform, like which has, like, various ways to, like, spread your feed.
Personally, I think that TikTok isn't as addicting as other social medias, but I think it depends on, like, the scaling system you're using to determine how addicting it could be. Because I feel like, for example, Instagram, that's the app I use the most. Instagram, in my eyes, is more addicting than TikTok, because if I go on TikTok, I'm, like, scrolling through, like, funny videos. I'm scrolling through, like, I don't know, cat videos. I'm scrolling through STEM TikTok. And I feel like I can always get, like, some sort of point of view outside of myself, right? From, like, I don't know, my feed shows up a lot of, you know, things catered to me, of course, but, like, you know, movie ideas, music recommendations, here's my career in STEM, da-da-da-da, like, things like that specifically. But whereas if I go on Instagram, my feed is going to be all my friends posting about their lives. And, you know, I'm at that age where a lot of my friends are getting married and having kids and, you know, moving out of state for, like, whatever job. I see people I don't know do the same thing. I see musicians, I see models, I see like a bunch of stuff that isn't necessarily something I would interact with on TikTok. I feel like on Instagram, there's a broader spectrum of what you could like. And they also have like reels, which feels like TikTok because you're scrolling through them. So in my eyes, Instagram is more addicting than TikTok for those reasons. And, you know, that's kind of why I like TikTok, because it has those breaks for you and doesn't necessarily like show you things to distract you. So Instagram shows you things to distract you plus everyone else's life. And I feel like TikTok is just things to distract you. Do you get what I mean? I feel like you can get sucked into the scrolling pattern of TikTok or like Instagram Reels. The only difference is that like Instagram also has the feature for you to see everyone else's life, their feeds, and compare it to yours, because it's like right there, and you can see like how they're doing in comparison to how you're doing, on top of like the mindless behavior of scrolling through these random videos. Whereas TikTok just has like these big and mindless videos.
Yeah, but I think that TikTok strictly has such an addictive aspect to it. Like Instagram, the Instagram Reels, like when you're on there, I feel that's more addicting when you're just constantly doing that hand motion of just scrolling and just watching a short clip. Like that feature in itself is so addictive, right? But then you go off of that feature on Instagram, and then you can see like people's photos and like learn about their life. You can read the bio, whatever. But TikTok, it strictly has the short clips, right? And all you do on TikTok is scroll, right? So I think TikTok is so much easier to get addicted to, and it might be a age thing, because for you Instagram is more addicting, but
Whoa
I
there.
see.
Whoa there.
I'm not calling you old. I'm not
you're
calling
not
you old.
trying to call me old.
No,
Right?
I'm not trying to call you old. I'm not trying to call you old. No.
Yo, these youngins are so disrespectful. Damn.
No. No, I'm not trying to call you old. Because like in school, like I'm just walking through the hallway and I see kids like their heads down, like absorbed into the screen on TikTok, and I'm like, what is going on? Like no one is like as socially active as they were at least before the pandemic.
I mean, I see what you're talking about, but at the same time, I don't like that comparison, because I think a societal culture of trying to shy away from conversations didn't start with technology. Mm-hmm. Like, have you seen that picture where it compares like people being on their, like you walk onto a bus and it's full of people like being on their phones, compared to a picture from like, I don't know, fucking 50 years ago or something. I don't know, way back before technology. And it's like people doing the same thing about holding newspapers, reading newspapers. Like, I don't think this trying to, stray away from being a social person or interacting with humans in real life, I don't think this started with technology. I think that this has been around for a while. And, technology is just like the easiest thing to pinpoint it on now.
Yeah. So do you think social media adds to a sense of belonging?
I think so. I definitely think, if you aren't on social media, it's kind of like whoa, what the fuck are you talking about? Like, that's such like a pause type moment, like a record scratch type moment in a conversation, because it's so like prevalent in society today.
I want to add on that, because like so many people are on social media. When you're like not on social media, it makes you feel almost like left out when you're like with your friends and then they're talking about something that they saw on like a social media platform, and then you don't understand or you don't get it because you didn't see that if you were trying to distance yourself from social media. So it almost feels like straying away from social media is a bad thing, because now you're not as close with your friends. You don't understand the jokes that they're making anymore, and it feels like you're not being included. You kind of feel like an outsider because social media gave you that sense of belonging.
Yeah, yeah. I always feel like that. Because my sister just always ends up like doing some dances she saw on social media, and then she was like, "You saw that?" And I was like, "No." Every time, no, I didn't see that. But on like a more cultural perspective, I think like especially if you're an immigrant, being in like these group chats with people who speak your own language, whether that's like family, friends, or just like online people you meet, right? Because an immigrant family could come here, and all of a sudden, like, let's say from Egypt, right? And then they come and they live in a predominantly white neighborhood, right? So their sense of belonging is just thrown off a bit, right? It's like, okay, where exactly do I belong? And I think social media has such a strong connecting factor in it, where you're able to connect with anyone in the entire planet. Individuals are able to join group chats, right, and get that sense that, okay, I'm among my own people, or at least digitally, where they would get a similar feeling that they did back in their home country. And like in that aspect, I think social media is incredible at, but I think it's also dangerous because how heavily will that individual rely on social media for their social interaction? Going back to our hunter-gatherer age, humans are not built to seek the approval of thousands of people, right? Like we put like especially those like verified on Instagram, right, where they have millions and millions of followers. It's like, how unnatural is that? Because back in our hunter-gatherer age, we were primed to seek the approval of our immediate family and friends, right? We didn't care what someone like someone from a tribe that was 25 miles away or even across the entire globe thought about us, right? But what social media does is that it connects the entire world. And there's a positive aspect to that, but there's also like an extreme setback and horrifying negatives. Because like, what kind of mental health issues come with trying to seek the approval of thousands? And I don't think that's like actually scalable.
I see where you're coming from, but I also think that has to do with like a lot of with that saying that's out of sight, out of mind. Like today, I live in New Jersey. I've lived in New Jersey my entire life. I wouldn't know about anyone living in like the UK. I wouldn't know about anyone living in like the mountains in Peru, like, because I'm not Peruvian. I don't know anyone who travels to the mountains of Peru or lives in the UK. Like, these aren't people I'm connected to. But I'm on social media, and they're on social media. So they are, like, on my mind now because I can see them, and I see that they exist. Mm-hmm. And I think that's where it comes from now, that we're, like, appealing to all these people because now we're reminded that they exist. And it's just, I can't remember that word, but it's, like, one of those words that means when you realize that other people have their own lives and they're just like going through, and you're just a character in their lives just like they are a character in your life. It's like this existential feeling of like, damn, there are so many people living so many completely different lives. And you know, I feel like now we're more aware of that with social media.
Yeah, definitely. Wow. I think it's how like social media is it can be so negatively impactful. Because in order to seek more approval, we tend to mold our self-image to what the like our general audience wants or thinks looks good. Oh my god, and like all types of problems just like come out of that.
Social media, it led me to compare myself a lot to others, especially when it came to body image, because I saw like so many popular creators, you know, they would like show their body a lot and like what I eat in a day, and they'd look so good. And I would compare myself to them all the time, not knowing that they didn't even reach these a healthy way. Some of them even got like plastic surgery done, but like they wouldn't admit it. They would like pretend that they worked out to get that body. So then it kind of made me feel like, okay, how come they can do it and I can't? And like, how come when I work out, I don't look that good? Like, they were setting unrealistic beauty standards, and it was slowly deteriorating my health because of it.
Do you guys mind talking about some traumatic experiences that you've gone through using social media? Hey, yo.
All right. So I'm going to just say it right now. This is a trigger warning for anybody listening, for the editors, and for Alvera and Marlene. Just letting you know, I will be talking about gore. Let's just leave it at that. Gore. That is my trigger warning.
Oh, no.
So, to get into this story, I've been using social media for a long time. I primarily use Instagram, like Alvera said. He kind of showed my ass out there and showed my age or whatever. But Instagram started getting really popping when I was in, like, 6th grade. So I naturally made an Instagram. And I've had my Instagram account since 6th grade. So at the time, like in 6th grade, I was 12, and I'm 21 now. Damn. So almost 10 years, right? Damn, almost 10 years on Instagram? That's crazy. Anyways, so I was on Instagram, and I used Instagram to, like, talk to my friends. You know, that was back in the Kick era, which I'm sure y'all know nothing about, right? So the Kick era was popping. That's where you would talk to your friends. And, you know, you would see, I don't even remember what the fuck you saw on Instagram back then, because it was so long ago. It was like an old logo, a completely different setup. I remember I used to post, like, edits, like really cringy quotes mixed with my face edits. Don't look me up because you will see it.
I got
you. No, don't even try it. Don't even try it. So it was like, I was very, you know, I was new to the space. Everyone was new to the space. And I was really young. So I was, of course, really impressionable. I didn't use, like, social media OD. Like I said, it would just be every now and then to, like, post these random quote pictures. And I remember one day I was scrolling. This was back before they had, like, perfected their algorithm, like, code or whatever it is.
Yeah.
And I remember I was scrolling on Instagram one day, and I had saw that I got a follower. And I was like, oh, I'm going to see who this is. Yes. No. So I go to this person's account. They have no profile picture, no bio. And it was like some weird funky name that, like, didn't even make any sense. Like a bunch of letters and some random numbers type funky name. And you had to follow them to see their posts, but they had no posts. So I was like, okay. And it was back in the day. So I was like, you know, maybe this is like one of my friends who just made an account and don't know, like, shit. And they just haven't told me. So I requested to follow them. About an hour later, they accepted. And to my surprise, they had posted 3 pictures.
Oh, no.
Those pictures were the most traumatic thing a 12-year-old could have seen on Instagram at the time, in my eyes. Because it was, I had seen, like, a picture of a hanging body.
Oh, my God.
And it was like a bloody hanging body, with the caption being like, "Oh, I killed my wife." And the next post was like a random gun picture being like, "I'm gonna kill my kids next." And I don't remember what the third picture was, because when I had saw that, I remember being in such a state of like shock. Like I felt paralyzed, because it was just like, oh my gosh, like I don't really know what to do in this situation. I'm not gonna be like, "Yo, mom, I just saw a dead body on Instagram," because she would have been like, "What the fuck is you doing on Instagram in the first place?" I'm still like, I'm kind of shaking just right now, just thinking about that time.
Yeah, me too. I'm shaking too. Oh my god.
Yeah, because you think of Instagram today, and it's not like that. Like you do not see anything like that on Instagram. But this was years ago, and I remember I had dealt with the situation by like, I went under 3 little dots at the bottom of the picture, or like at the top, wherever it was back then. And it gave me the option to report the picture. And at the time, they didn't have a lot of options for like why you were reporting the picture. So I had to like put other, and I typed in like, "There's a fucking dead body." Like I didn't curse, right? Because I was 12. But I wrote like, "There's a dead body," and these people are whoever this is talking about murdering people on Instagram in like 2012, bro. And I still think about that account. I'm sure that like they took it down after like a day or two, because that had to definitely been taken down. But I like, as soon as I saw that, and as soon as I reported the account, I had blocked it. And it was kind of like trying to keep that out of my mind until now, because now we're talking about social media and these crazy things that people can experience. But as traumatic as that is, I'm sure that is like a weird spectrum of traumatic stuff that can happen on social media. But I know that there's so much more and so much worse that can happen.
Wow.
That's crazy. Like, I feel sick to my stomach just thinking about that.
Yeah.
You still reminded me of oh my god. I kind of had a similar experience. But how it differs from yours is that I intently searched for this stuff. Not like in a weird way, because like I was super into history when I was a kid, and I was learning about the Civil War, and then I was going through images, and I saw a lynch of a slave, and I was like, oh my god, and then my my crazy bum clicked on the image, and then similar images popped up, and I was like, wow, this is terrible. This is genuinely terrible. And then like while you were talking about your experience, like those emotions like came back again, and like my heart started to beat, and like I was shaking a bit. Wow.
What's crazy is that the body that I had seen in that picture was a brown body, and you're talking about black slaves being lynched, and it's just it's absolutely crazy to me that it's 2021. And what? Huh? It's 2022. Sorry, pandemic time. It's 2022, and we as a society, we as a culture have become desensitized towards murdered black and brown people. Like we see, to bring it up, I'm gonna bring it up. We see all these black men and women and children being murdered on the news all the time. We see a lot of news about, our home countries of brown people being murdered in a bunch of different ways. And we've become desensitized to it. But, I don't fucking hear shit about white people getting murdered. And when they do, like that poor woman who was murdered and like her body was left somewhere, it became a whole trend on Twitter, Instagram. Everybody was like, we have to get justice for these people, for this person. Sorry, I don't remember her name, so I can't credit her. Or, you know what I'm trying to say. But you don't see any of that. You don't even see 50% of that when it comes to a black man being killed by police, or when it comes to like femicides in countries outside of the U.S.
Yeah, and the amount of times it has to happen to colored individuals before it gets proper recognition.
Literally, it has to happen so many times just for you to even get like one article on it. Yeah. But if it's like a white woman gone missing, then every major outlet will have it by the end of the day. So I just want to throw in there, I am not trying to like diminish the problems of the Caucasians. I'm just saying, from my point of view, I think that it's crazy that we have become desensitized towards black and brown and indigenous people being murdered, disappearing, all these crazy things, and yet we have our focus is being targeted towards that happening. Rarely, but happening to white people.
So through all that you guys have experienced through social media, like in what ways have you felt that you had to go on social media? Has there been any other instances that you guys have felt controlled or addicted to social media?
I mean, I feel like every night I feel like I can't put it down. Like, I have to keep scrolling, and I keep telling myself, like, this is the last time, or like, I'm going to get off in 5 minutes, but I can't put it down. It's like I'm addicted to it. Like, I can't help but keep scrolling and keep looking at stories and Instagram. Like, I can't put it down, and it gives me so much comfort, and I think that's why I'm addicted to it, because it's very, like, comforting, and it makes me happy, and a lot of times when I'm feeling very anxious, that relieves my anxiety. And I feel like I almost, like, rely on it, too. Like, if I'm anxious, I always know, like, okay, well, at least I have social media to make me feel better.
Yeah. Yeah, that goes into, like, what I was talking about before, of, like, that over-dependency on social media. When you realize that you have been using social media, overusing social media, do you feel like it's harder to regulate your emotions?
Yeah. It is harder to regulate my emotions without social media, because I remember I tried it for, like, I think a couple days, maybe 4, that I wasn't on TikTok at all. And I felt so much more anxious that week. And I felt like every time I was anxious, I didn't know what to do to relieve my anxiety, because I was so dependent on TikTok relieving anxiety for me, because it was so easy. I'm anxious, I pick up my phone, I scroll a little bit, I calm down, I'm fine. So when I took that away, I didn't know what to do. Like, what am I supposed to do now? How do I relieve this anxiety? And it was definitely harder. And that's why I went back to using TikTok again, because I couldn't, like, function without it.
Yeah, because I remember the days when you just, like, completely dropped TikTok. And I recently saw this video that talked about if you just, like, cut something off completely, like if severe, like, drug addicts, if they just completely just cut off the drug that they've been continuously using for years, and if it's just they just stop using it all of a sudden, the body can go into shock and they might die, because they built such a strong dependency on the drug that their body kind of doesn't know how to regulate itself without the drug. And I think this is less of, like, and I think your experience with social media is less of the side effect, but it's like it's still there, which is scary, because it leads me to wonder, is social media producing an entire generation that's more anxious, and like depressed and like insecure about themselves?
I think you're right on that. I think that it is producing a generation that's more anxious and insecure because they're constantly comparing themselves to others on social media. And also a lot of teenagers are losing sleep because of social media, and they're also like becoming more anxious slowly, and then at the same time they're becoming dependent on the social media. So I think definitely it's a big problem, and this whole generation is going to be affected by it.
I'm curious to see which generation ends up. Oh my god. Because of social media, I think this generation has like unconsciously adopted and like an addictive behavior. Because we're just constantly seeking instant gratification. And what's so terrible is that these massive titan industries just don't even care.
Yeah, again, they don't have to care. Their job is to make you addicted. Their job is to get money from your addiction. Honestly, there's nothing really different from a big tobacco company and a big social media company.
Yeah. So social media is the cocaine in your pocket that you can take out at any time. Damn. And the effects of social media, like, they kind of creep up on you because you don't realize you have a problem until it's so severe. Like, no one initially tells you when you download a platform that, hey, this is bad for you, right? Because I just downloaded Instagram when I was in middle school, right? And kids nowadays are downloading social media when they're in elementary school, and like, what effect is that having on them?
Truthfully, I think it would be really interesting to see if in the upcoming years there will be some legislation passed on, trying to handle social media addictions better. Just like a couple years ago when cyberbullying was really big, and they did pass a couple of laws with restrictions so that victims and the families of victims can, have some standing in a court. I wonder what that legislation is going to look like in the future, if there is going to be some legislation to stop these big companies like Facebook and, Meta now, right?
Oh my god. Like Facebook, Snapchat, Instagram. Oh my god. They're like unregulated drug cartels that can get out their product to children, to adolescents, and adults. Oh my god. What have you guys tried to do to protect yourself from the influence of social media?
So I tried completely eliminating it, and that didn't work.
Yeah.
So instead, I turned off my notifications for Instagram and TikTok, because Instagram notification was just telling me someone posted on their story or someone shared a new post. So I took those off. So now I don't see them, and I go on it so much less than I used to. I barely even touch Instagram anymore. And then TikTok, same thing. I took off my notifications. Even though I didn't really look at them, I still took it off. And now the only notifications I have are Snapchat. And that's because they don't notify you when someone posts. It only notifies you if you got sent a message. And my social media use has decreased a bit because of turning off notifications.
Yeah, well, my social media use, at one point, it just got so bad that I just didn't know what to do. So oh my god. I just deleted all of my social media platforms, and I know a lot. I previously talked about how that could be bad for you, and it can kind of shock your system, because you don't have that constant stimuli. But I just deleted all platforms, and I just allowed myself to suffer. I would say a good 15 days to 2 weeks, and that kind of detoxed my brain from all of the dopamine that was released due to social media and that constant exposure to this distracting content. So what about you, Diana? Have you tried anything?
Yeah, so I've mentioned before, I've had social media probably longer than y'all. And I've tried deleting the app a couple of times, and it's worked for me. Like, I delete it, I want to say at least once a month for like a minimum of a week. No, perdón, not once a month. Once a year for a minimum of like a week. I limit my time on social media, meaning like I am very like conscious of my routine, especially nowadays when I am, getting better at time management and stuff. So I make sure that I do not go on Instagram, any social media, no TikTok, no Pinterest, no Snapchat. I don't even use Snapchat, but none of that. I use none of that. In the morning when I wake up, at least until I'm out of class, which for me is around 1 o'clock. So I make sure I'm not even on any social media until after 1 o'clock. And if I am, it's just to answer people who have like texted me via Instagram and not to like look at my feed. What else have I done? I set very strict restrictions with myself with like when I open social media. Like, again, that comes back to like being conscious of when I use it. So like if I'm on a date with my girlfriend, or if I'm just like hanging out with my girlfriend, it doesn't even have to be like a romantic date, I will not pick up my phone at all. Like, unless it's a phone call, I'm not picking it up. When I'm out with friends, the only time I pick it up is if we're like paying for dinner or something, like paying for something outside. I try to live my life in the moment, and that really means just putting your phone in your pocket, in your jacket, in your purse, in your bag, or whatever, and like forgetting that you even exist, like forgetting that your phone even exists.
Yeah.
Because once you start getting into the habit of that, it's easier for you to just put your phone down and exist as a person. And it definitely helps with the effects that social media has on your mental health. At least that's what I found.
Yeah, no, I can definitely relate to that, because when I find it hard to focus or study, I would just shut off my phone and put it in this little box that I bought that has a lock timer on it, and you could set it to, I think, a maximum of 1 day. But you set the timer, and then you unlock it for a certain amount of time, and then after that time it'll unlock, and that's like just like really helped me. But with that, guys, thank you for joining me on this amazing discussion about social media and its effects on one's mental health.
Thank you. I hope you liked it.
Yep.
Thanks for listening.
Thanks for listening, everyone.